table with her legs like Betty Grable. She's the turkey of 29 pounds. Oh, gobble, gobble, the turkey of 29 pounds.
Hey everybody, I'm Jesus of Guys Not Lab, and welcome to another edition of Thankful for Thanksgiving. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about a movie that I actually saw tonight called Here. Here is a movie by Robert Zemeckis. If you don't know who Robert Zemeckis is, he's most popular for Back to the Future. He did Flight with Denzel Washington, Contact with Jodie Foster, Forrest Gump, Castaway. But in the movie Here, it kind of reunites him with his Forrest Gump castmates, Tom Hanks, and Robin Wright, who plays in the movie Here, she plays Margaret, but in Forrest Gump, she played Jenny. And so, backstory on the movie Here. Here is pretty much it's a movie. It's a very interesting concept because it just takes place in one room, pretty much. So it's one room seen through different timelines and generations, broken down. There's kind of like an old like a Benjamin Franklin time era, like the early 1900s, the 1940s, and then like the 2000s or like kind of mid 2000s, 2010s, and then the present. And then but our main story that we follow is Tom Hanks' story and Robin Wright. So his name is Richard and Margaret's their main story of them growing up in the house that his father bought. Paul Bettany, he's plays Jarvis in the Marvis movies, but he buys it after the war. He buys the house for like $3,400, which is insane. But he buys it, and it just kind of follows his story and his wife Rose, who's Kelly Riley. So Al and Rose, it follows their story and their kids. And kind of them growing up and kind of seeing just the early I think I'm assuming it's the 1940s, or I'm pretty sure it's the 1940s, them growing up and all that stuff. And then they have like 3 kids. And then I didn't realize it until like midway through the movie, or maybe just still early act 1 of the movie, that Tom Hanks was the oldest son. So then it follows Tom Hanks and Robin Wright's story as they get pregnant and then get married and all that stuff. The movie, I mean, so then it follows into generational different timelines. There's a story with a family that lived there. So it all takes place in one room, the living room. And so, but it's not just the living room. Sometimes it's a open field of the house that wasn't built, or sometimes it was just kind of like a forest, or it was just different rooms. So there's like I said, there's a present couple, there's a Native American Indian couple, there's a aviation couple, and then pretty much our main story is Tom Hanks and Richard and Margaret, his wife, and kind of seeing them grow up. It kind of bounces back and forth, and I liked it. A lot of people didn't like it. A lot of critics didn't like it because of the bouncing back and forth. I don't know if because of my ADD, like I really like it just connected with me because I went back and forth and kind of like multiple tabs open and stuff like that. So I liked it, following each story and kind of the storylines and stuff like that. The story in itself just shows that how life just goes and how life kind of passes by really quick. And I really enjoyed it. I didn't think I was gonna like it because it all takes place in one room and there's no different scene changes and stuff like that. There kind of is scene changes, but it's all the same like location framed out scene. But I didn't know if I was gonna like it, but I did. I really did enjoy it. The reason I'm reviewing this for Thankful for Thanksgiving, because you're like, well, why are you reviewing this movie? Well, throughout the lifetime of the movie, because it follows kind of like his birth and going through like, you know, older age, senior citizens and stuff like that. It follows his marriage, him having kids, him being a kid, all that stuff. And throughout the seasons in life, there was a lot of holidays in there. And so there was Christmas and there was Halloween parties and stuff like that. But I think the one holiday that was focused, or featured more than all of them. Christmas was featured a good amount, and Halloween was featured once, but I think Thanksgiving was featured 4 times, if I remember correctly. So I kind of gave it the nod. There's not a lot of Thanksgiving movies out there, and this is not necessarily a Thanksgiving movie, but there is a lot of Thanksgiving themes and Thanksgiving exposure. So I was like, with having been exposed in the movie Thanksgiving 4 times, I figured, yeah, I'll give it the nod for Thankful for Thanksgiving. I'm trying not to give a lot of spoilers. There's not like necessarily spoilers, but you just see everyone's kind of life and or death situations. The thing what I love about this, even going back to Thanksgiving, is that this movie has to do with family and community and being together and being united and gathering at the tables and drama and kind of life. And that's pretty much what this movie was about. And sometimes Thanksgiving is about that, like seeing each other once a year and life moving on. I know for Thanksgiving, for me, it was always about family and friends and cousins and aunts and uncles and grandparents and mom and dad and siblings. And now, as I'm older, my siblings live across the country and they have their own kids, and some of their own kids are older. My siblings, my brother and sister, had kids when they were like 18, 19. So their kids are older. Their kids have kids. I didn't get married until I was like in my late 20s. I didn't have kids until I was in my early 30s. So there's a generational gap. So we don't have the big Thanksgiving anymore. And that's what this movie showed, just kind of like life changing, everyone kind of being spread out. And even says that in the movie, like our whole family is spread out, and things. There is a scene at the end where the Thanksgiving is just him and his wife. And it's kind of depressing, but it hit home for me. This Thanksgiving, we're not really doing a big thing because everyone is spread out. We're still younger in a sense where like my kids are younger and we could still have a big Thanksgiving, but it's different. And one thing that this movie really emphasized was that time flies. And you see through every generational story and here that time does fly. And that hit home too. Like my daughter asked me, she's like, oh, how long have you been married? I'm like, 15 years in 2 months. And I'm like, oh my gosh, 15 years in 2 months. That's insane. That feels like the other day. But back to here in this movie, I really like it. I like Robert Zemeckis' style. I like Tom Hanks. The acting was really great. I guess not, like I said, it's not for everybody, but I really enjoyed it. And I'm big on family. I'm big on nostalgia. I'm big on traditions. I'm big on sentiment and stuff like that. And I really enjoyed it. So I would really highly encourage you to check it out. It's in the movie theaters right now. It's Here by Robert Zemeckis. And yes, I definitely recommend it for Thankful for Thanksgiving. Like I said, not an official Thanksgiving movie, but definitely a lot of holiday themes, and Thanksgiving was definitely featured. So check it out this season for Thankful for Thanksgiving. All right, I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.